Greetings, Earthlings. This is your girl, Ono Marshall, aka Ono the Oracle here. And while I'm sitting at the computer being productive, I did want to come on and kind of summarize how I'm able to have my 15-year-old in college classes. And so we live in Stark County, and I either heard an ad on the radio or I seen a billboard or something I seen that said that the county will pay for your student to attend college classes if they're in 7th through 12th grade. And at that time, our oldest was in the 8th grade. And I had missed the deadline for applying for the, the financial aid. I had missed the deadline, but I was still able to do the rest of the process or whatever. So it's fairly easy. Like, all I had to do was submit an application, like a regular college application. I have to send over her high school transcripts and apply for the actual funding. So it's two different applications. You're applying for the funding and you're applying for her to get into college. And so then once the funding comes through and you're like sending the, so I'm pretty much just like cross-sending the documents. So when she got accepted into the college, I sent that over to the county, which in return was like, okay, she got accepted into the college. She was awarded a certain amount of dollars to go towards her classes. And so that award letter I sent over to the college. And once I get her high school transcript sent in, that's really all I have to do. She's assigned a school counselor. Her first semester we went in and met with the school counselor, but this is her third semester now, so we just do a Zoom. We just do a Zoom meeting with the counselor. We go over, what prerequisites she's completed, because she's completed her prerequisites for psychology and sociology. So those two doors are wide open, and she likes psychology more than sociology, so she's going more towards the psychology route this semester. But yeah, like, she's not at college math level yet, and she's doing an English composition. I think I forget. She's registered for some classes for the fall. But anyway, I got to get my head back in the game. That's why I got my laptop open. I have to send over her high school transcripts so that she can be completely registered for classes. So I got to get that done because we had that Zoom meeting on the 20th of June. And if I wait too long, I don't want those classes to close out. So I'm getting ready to go in and pull her transcripts. I got a lot going on because I got notes that I'm getting done for work. I have a letter that I'm typing up for one of my friends, and I'm getting transcript stuff sent over, and I'm also getting closing out our homeschool year. I have to submit paperwork. We have a certified teacher who reviews all of my children's work from the beginning of the year, and she compares it to their work at the end of the year, and she just watches for progress. And if, like, Reiki's made progress in her mathematics and her multiplication, she gets a check off of that. If she's made progress in her sentence structure, her manuscript handwriting, if she's made progress from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, then she gets checked off on that. Things like science, we'll send pictures of us being at the museums and us being at the science centers. I'll send pictures of us being active in those settings to the teacher. So that will check off our social studies. That will check off our history. That checks off our science. And then I send a video of Reiki reading from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. And that's literally how we show that we're homeschooling. Like, some people make it so complicated. Like, it's really not complicated, because we're literally learning constantly all day. And when you're a homeschooling parent, you just have to make learning, you just have to be more conscious of it. I'm more consciously looking for ways to intentionally teach my children. So, like, if we're in the store, like, most parents might leave their children in the car, like, might leave their children at home. But, like, I have to take my children in the store, because we talk about budgeting. We talk about, like, sales, how to compare the how much you're getting to the unit, cost per unit. Or cost per ounce, or cost per pound. Like, we're comparing a lot of things to see, hey, is this the best store to buy this item at, or is it better for us to buy it at the farmer's market? You know what I mean? So we're in there talking about ingredients. We're reading an ingredients list. You know what I mean? So sometimes it gets a little frustrating, like when people find out that we homeschool our children, because they like to kind of like test them a little bit, or like ask them certain questions to see if our homeschooling is effective. But let me tell you something. Our children are learning stuff that your child's probably never going to learn until they're 40. So just stop coming for us. Like, we're not raising our children to be robots. We're not raising them to take orders from anybody. We're raising them to be able to go and know where to seek and find information and knowledge and how to apply it. Because that's the issue. Like, everybody knows shit, but like, what you gonna do with what you know? Because unless you really applying what you're learning, then what's the purpose? You just learning stuff and just acquiring knowledge just to be able to show somebody that you have acquired knowledge and you got a good memory. Because what are you doing with that information? Like, you writing books about it, you sharing history within your community. Like, what are you doing with it? Like, what is it? So anyway, getting back on track. Homeschooling is not as hard as people may believe it to be, because the first thing we do is we try to equate what the teachers are doing inside of the school to what you need to do in your home school. And it doesn't necessarily have to look like what it looks like in school. Those people have a certain amount of time within a day. They have a certain amount of months before their children need to excel on the test. So they need to be very, very structured. But I don't want to discourage anyone who isn't structured from homeschooling your children, because you can make your homeschool whatever you want to make it. That's why it's your homeschool. It's your home. However you want to set learning up. If you want to have listen, sometimes, because things change. As far as now, it's almost it is summertime, so the days are longer. Okay, so you can do more in the evening once you get off of work. But it's different when wintertime comes. So we kind of find ourselves, sometimes we do night school. Like, sometimes we don't really get motivated to really do anything until the sun go down and it cool down a little bit. Like, who trying to talk about what's 12 times 12 and it's 92 degrees outside? So sometimes it's not even that we're teaching during the day. Sometimes we switch it up so we can do that. Because really we don't just listen. It's not even about summer break for us. Like, we're still learning. So it's just all about being more intentional and making sure that a lot of your moments and memories come with the lesson, and that we discuss what the lesson is so that we can know what to get out of it and how to apply it and use it. But that's all I wanted to say about that. I want to talk more about immunizations. I do want to show you all the process that I do go through. Like, I can say it, but like literally I had to find a licensed teacher in Ohio. Like, I have to be organized so that I can say, yeah, here's work from the beginning of the year and here's work from the end of the year. Like, I have to make sure I keep up with that stuff, because sometimes my daughter is doing math on a scrap sheet of paper, and I have to just be like, okay, make sure you put that in your folder, because guess what? That counts. So listen, I know that a lot of us parents need breaks, and it is very convenient for us to, without paying a fee, drop our children off at school or have the school bus come get our children. But listen, if you can, homeschool your child or your children, because there's a lot of energy in the schools, and a lot of it isn't positive energy, and a lot of it doesn't want your child to excel. And I just feel like I can celebrate my children more, because I want my child to be motivated, versus if they go to a school and they're having a bad day. I don't want somebody to traumatize them or make them feel bad because they have emotions, or it's just an off day for them, because I studied the moon and the cycle of the month, and I know that some days are better than others. And so because I know my children, I know their cycles. So Reiki is very sometime-ish. Sometimes she want to listen, sometimes she don't. Sometimes she wants to do what you tell her to do right away, and sometimes she doesn't. But I know her cycle. So I try not to traumatize her because of that. I try to just be like, all right, go ahead, take you some time. I'm going to give you an hour to just sit in your room and stare at the ceiling, if that's what's making you comfortable, because she's in her mind thinking or creating or whatever she's doing in her mind. And when I give her that, and when I can understand that she just ain't feeling it today, she bounces back easier. Like, she like, okay, mommy gave me my hour, now let me go downstairs and let me, get my sentence structure done, or let me do my sight words, or let me go grab me a book. Like, if I give her that space, then she can maneuver a lot better, versus me just like kind of like being overbearing and being demanding. Like, that kind of makes her like go into a shell a little bit, for real. So, but that's stuff that teachers in the schools don't have time. Them teachers in the schools need your child to be on. When they say be on, when they say be off, they need to be off, because they are indeed training the children in schools. Like, those children, like, when the teacher raises their hand, they know that means quiet. When they put up one, they know what this mean, what that mean. Like, they're literally training these children in school. And it's interesting because I can remember being at a family function, and it's a kids party. So, the kids are all kicking it and being all loud, and the children are trying to get the grown-ups are trying to get the children to calm down, and it wasn't working. And so I was like, well, I know in the school that I work at, in order for them to get the child's attention, they hold their hand up. And they say, what did I tell them? Voice level 1. I said they hold their hand up and say voice level 1. And then all the children quite like be inside voices, because they trained them up like that. And so my family members looked at me like I was crazy and commenced to yell obscenities at the kids to try to get them to settle down. But I say that to say, your children are with the teachers and in the schools more than they're with you. So if you could adopt some of the techniques that the teachers use to, train your child at home, or to get your child to settle down at home. Like when you go to the parent and teacher conferences, which is why they created those meetings, is so that you can sit down with the teacher and be like, okay, well, how does she act in the class? And they're like, she's phenomenal in the class, and she pays attention and she follows directions. And you sitting there looking like, well, I can't get her to do that at home. And it's like, well, this is what I do. When she's talking too much, I raise my, like, they're able to share with you what they do in the classroom so that you can implement it at home. But if you're not going to the parent-teacher conference, then you're not really making the connection between the two. And, your child can be a raving straight-A student at school, and then they come home and they're trying to cope with their home environment, and it might not match up with who they are, or who they're striving to be, or who they enjoy being when they're in school. So they're combative and argumentative and depressed, and you're just like traumatizing them even further. But anyway, I won't get into all of that. It's always the roses that grow through the concrete, and I just think that that's just going to continue to be a thing. Until us as parents can continue to work on ourselves so that we can have more patience and understanding and compassion for our children. But anyway, I'll just go ahead and end there. But leave me questions. I mean, if you're interested in homeschooling your child, if you want to know how we do it, all of those things. I mean, if it becomes information that people are seeking, I definitely will try to figure out how to make it, make a video, make it available. Maybe I need to do a class so you can ask me questions and I can answer them. I can show you the documents. I can send you, the templates and all of that, So we'll just go from there. But until then, just know you are worthy, you are loved, you are incredible. You're beautiful, you're intelligent, you're worthy. You're worthy to be loved, you're worthy to exude love, you are loved. Don't you forget it. I'll see you next time. Peace.